What is the danger in empathizing with monsters? All right. So, when we watch films, we experience empathy. In some cases, it may be easier to experience empathy when watching a film as opposed to just being alive. Uh, we pass people on the street every day. We don't empathize with all of them. Maybe we don't empathize with any of them, depending on who you are, what your makeup is. But through the magic of the cinema, that same person who does not empathize with people on the street in real life or in their relationships, that person can go to the movies and experience empathy in a safe setting, seated, no distractions, looking up at a big, beautiful screen, and then, oh, something clicks. I felt something. I felt empathy for that character. I understood their plight. I felt their humanity. Um, so something started maybe around Trump's first presidency, I think, in 2016. Uh, the notion that certain people should be canceled. Now, this is not something that existed when I was a youngster, but it's something that came about, like I said, around then. I think partly in reaction to Trump's first presidency. But there's this notion that there's some things that shouldn't be talked about. There's some topics that should not be broached. And this even extends to filmmaking. There are some films that we mustn't talk about. There's some films that we just no, no. Um, Let me give you a concrete example. And this didn't really come about in 2016. I think it happened later. But I think the tide started to change in 2016. Fight Club. I saw Fight Club when I was a film student back in 1999. We watched Fight Club on the big screen on film, and we were all like, oh man, I have been waiting for this film for all year. This is the film of the year. We can't fucking wait, okay? David Fincher, Brad Pitt, Edward Norton. It's gonna be lit. We didn't say lit back then, but you get my drift. So what? Why is it that nowadays people are saying no, no, no? You can't watch Fight Club. Don't talk about Fight Club. Ha ha ha. Don't talk about the movie Fight Club. Why not? It's a good movie. Uh, well, could it be because of the subject matter? Of course, that's why. It's the subject matter that's we're not supposed to watch Fight Club. People are talking about banning the film Fight Club. Okay, Fight Club, it's a satire, okay? It's a satire about toxic masculinity. So, there, I said it, toxic masculinity. Uh why can't we make movies about that? Why? Well, I'll play devil's advocate here. It's because people might take it literally. It might inspire copycat toxic masculinists. Um, this idea that a film can inspire violence actually goes back to the right, the religious right, back decades, and now it's kind of like the new liberalism to say the same thing. We cannot show this film because it might inspire copycat crimes. Um, Other films. I'm talking about M. Fritz Lang, the 1931 film with Peter Lorre about a child murdering pedophile. Now, that movie is not graphically violent because it's so old, but it's a masterpiece. I don't know if people are talking about banning that film. I'm just using that as an example. So, what if we have a film where the hero or the anti hero, the protagonist, the main character, is a monster? Are you saying that we just can't do that? That we can't watch movies like that? That movies like that should not be made? I think some people do feel that way. Uh, and then you're talking about censorship. You're talking about limiting what the art loving public can see and hear and hopefully learn from. Limiting it. Now, this is a controversial notion because it's getting into politics. And the way that I see politics nowadays is that there's been an interesting shift from what it was considered conservative in the past and what is considered conservative in the present. The notion of a film being something that we must bury was traditionally a conservative idea for the longest time. But now we have people ostensibly on the left who are saying just that. Woody Allen's films canceled. Why? Because of suspicions against Woody Allen, or simply we don't like Woody Allen. There are other offenders that I could name, like Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski is the poster child of an acknowledged monster who is also a brilliant filmmaker. He has made many essential masterpieces of film. Okay, and now you sense my enthusiasm. Because I think this is important. Punish the artist, not the art. Okay? That is how I feel. So let me walk it back a little bit. I don't want to get bogged down in Polanskiville here. He's an acknowledged bad guy. He's a bad guy, okay? I don't dispute that. But I think I said it just now. Punish the artist, not the art. Separate the art from the artist. Because there are things that we can learn from monsters. There are monsters in our families. And there are monsters whom we will never meet but make works of great art. Why do we have to be babies about it and think, no, even though there is value in this art that really any art lover can and should acknowledge, the politics are too great to appreciate said art. I'm here to say I don't agree with that. Now, there are arguments that can be made about Woody Allen as being a moral or immoral person. And some people have just a knee-jerk sort of disgusted reaction when he comes up. And hey, I'm not here to say if you feel disgusted, you must watch Woody Allen's movies. No, don't do it. clearly it's hard for you. So I'm not saying you must do that unless you're taking a class that I teach. But let's assume that you're not doing that. There's a reason why the MPA, formerly the MPAA, has ratings for their films. R, PG-13, PG, G, X, or NC-17. We have to maintain that if you are at least old enough to see an R-rated film, that you have a certain ability to recognize that it is a film and not simply an instruction manual for how you need to be transgressive or how you need to be toxic. Part of it, I think, is because in America, we live in a very litigious society where people say, hey, if there is any slim chance that I can sue you for something, you can bet your ass I'm going to do it. So if somebody thinks that there is a lawsuit because my son saw Fight Club and then he went and started a fight club, somebody is going to take up that lawsuit for sure. There's probably going to be multiple lawsuits with that. So that is the unfortunate thing about America is that we don't really appreciate filmmaking as an art the way they do in Europe. That is really what it boils down to. America does not value art and artists the way Europe values, especially cinematic artists. And you have to understand a movie like Fight Club is art. It's not an instructional manual for how to be transgressive or how to be toxic. And if somebody takes it as such, my personal opinion is that the movie is not to blame. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for future videos from the PJB Film School.